Women don't like the image of computer science. Women don't like feeling like, they're a woman in computer science.
Nationally, we've seen the rates of women's participation fall, and that's very scary.
In school at Stanford, they do a reasonable job, but I was still the only girl in a couple of my classes. We're not talking classes of 20, we're talking classes of 120.
Everybody knows who those women are, which has got to be way too much pressure on them.
All the prejudices and the implicit notions that if you're a girl, you're going to do less well.
And I think a lot of women, myself included, come to computer science afraid of it.
It was just very intimidating to be around these people who could just hack out code really fast, and I was just struggling to write my first, Hello World program.
Be considered what a computer scientist would do. For instance, I'm in a sorority at Stanford, and I love it.
I was interested in psychology. I like to write.
I'm very extroverted, and my greatest hobby is travel.
I love getting manicures. I love watching Gossip Girl, don't judge me.
This is a field that everybody can be in, and that everything that you do in computer science makes you better at your other interests, and that your other interests also make you a better computer scientist.
My name is Kimber Lockhart, and I work at a company called Box. There I'm a director of engineering responsible for the web application development team. I'm trying to hire great engineers right now, and I would hire them twice as fast if I could find them.
And at this rate, literally the growth of the US tech industry is going to be throttled by the fact that US universities and even the world's universities are not producing enough software engineers.
In the West, we cut our scientific population in half because we don't really encourage women. We need everyone we can get in this field. If Stanford graduated all of its students in computer science, the Valley would hire them all.
I think this is actually really a Rosie the Riveter moment, and that is that women are the great untapped bench. If you just look at the numbers, and they're super simple, let's say that women are 60% of undergraduates, they're 20% of computer science majors. Imagine a hypothetical computer science department with 100 students each year. At 20%, women are 20 of those, men are 80 of those. If we simply took women to their appropriate proportion of undergraduates, which is 60%, for every 40 men, there would be 60 women. For those 80 men, there would be 120 women. That would be 200 students, not 100. So if women were just represented proportionally, we would double the number of software engineers this nation is making every year, and that would be timely because the number of jobs is tripling.
My name is Tracy Chow, and I am a software engineer at Pinterest.
My name is Shobhan Albert, and I work at Microsoft.
I'm Jocelyn Goldfein, and I'm a director of engineering at Facebook.
Vahini Bradu. I am the CEO and co-founder of a green mining company called Blue Oak Resources. The goal of Blue Oak is to extract high-value precious metals from end-of-life electronics, so your cell phones, your computers.
My name is Sandy Jen. I was the CTO and co-founder of a company called Meebo. We got acquired at Google last year, and I currently work as a software engineer at Google. People's lives revolve around tech, even if they don't even know it.
I would, maybe go on Facebook, I'd browse around the internet. It was just like computer science.
Over time, I discovered that a prereq class to almost everything I wanted to do was our introductory computer science class.
I took a CS class the spring of my sophomore year.
And the part of me that loved to do logic puzzles and crossword puzzles just thrived on programming.
It keeps me intellectually stimulated every day, and I feel like I'm learning things on a day-to-day basis.
The most important things in computer science is logic and algorithmic thinking. And I think when you have that mindset, that can be applied to a stream of different disciplines, from science to engineering to business.
The majority of jobs today have a technology component. And so if you want to equip yourself to do almost anything, you need to add computer science to that very basic part of your toolkit.
With computing, just a little bit of programming knowledge suddenly unlocks all of these doors.
You can go into any industry. You can go into fashion, you can go into science, you can go into math.
And the fun part about computing is it's just such a broad discipline, because what we define as computer science is essentially finding problems that are worth solving and then solving them using computing.
I was terrified to take the introductory computer science class.
At least known by some as a weeder class, so it was a little bit more difficult.
The expectation was, if you're studying computer science, you must have used this before.
And there were some guys in the class who had just been programming all their lives, and I had not even touched a computer until 1998.
I thought I was failing that class the entire way through.
I spent a lot of time thinking that I just wasn't qualified for this. I hadn't been coding since I was 12, and my classmates, several of them had.
There's some very good statistics, some done here at Stanford, that show that when women don't succeed at first, they blame themselves, and men blame the course or the test. So that a woman who gets a B+ thinks she's doing horribly, and a man who gets a B+ thinks they're doing fine.
If there's something you want to try that you're excited about but you're afraid of, how do you get over that? I tell a lot of people, men and women, to fake it till you make it. If you project self-confidence, the people around you will believe in you, and someday you will look around and realize you're not faking it anymore. That game face of confidence is how you actually feel.
You don't have to be the most genius person in the world to even get started. I think just being able to be okay and persevere and say, I'm learning something.
You know, like just Google what you want to do or Google what you might want to think about doing. And then something will come up and that'll lead to something else and that'll lead to something else.
Don't let fear get in the way of what you can do, because you could change the world if you want to.
I think if you're in high school, just get going and get going with something small and stair-step your way into it. Achieve something, build something useful, build yourself a small software program, or take an iPhone class and build a small application. Just get going and see it through.
So we decided to come up with an Android app, and Study Cafe is basically a virtual world crossed with studying via flashcards and multiple choice questions.
So in addition to making the app, we also had to pitch it to a panel of judges.
I think that makes computer science really appealing, because you do have to talk to people and you do have to be convincing as well. I think that's really cool.
I'm usually like a shy person, but like when I got up to pitch, I actually really liked it.
As high schoolers, our app was designed to help people with studying for AP Sciences. If it was a non-high schooler who had designed this app, would they have been able to think of that problem? It's the same for women. We have our own personal issues which are different from men, and we need women computer scientists who can understand that issue and be able to code it and make it a reality.
If you're good at math, if you're good at science, take a look. Consider computer science.
It's daunting, it's hard, but I would encourage you to take a risk, to give it a shot.
Because honestly, you can start at any age. You can start at any time.
It's a very creative field, and it enables you to do so many different things.
And I think making all the choices that make you happy every day is probably the thing that'll get you closest to eventually recognizing your full potential.
They can affect the world very positively. They can build products that are used by millions of people.
And it's actually really dramatically changing the way the world functions.
You can have an idea or a concept, and you yourself can build it and make it a reality.
Like, it really is about making something that you're proud of and making something that, you wanted to make and that was hard to make and that you did make. And I think that was kind of my proudest moment, because that was the first time I can really look back and be like, I did that.